Yo, what's going on, man? Today is April the 26th, 2024. It's your boy Chris, and this is the ChrisBeCappinn NBA Show, live on Twitter, also live on YouTube as well. When I did the show yesterday, told you guys I wasn't feeling the greatest yesterday, and I think it's just like an upper respiratory infection or something. And it's still kind of, you guys could probably hear it in my voice. I'm super congested. I'm drinking tea, lemon, honey, ginger, all that good stuff. But I think it's allergy related. Here in Virginia, allergies are terrible right now. And everything I'm allergic to is that season. So we'll get through the show for today and see what everybody's liking. I got one play I locked in already, a couple player props I want to talk about as well. And we'll get through the 3 games, man. So quick recap. Yesterday, it feels like, and it says April 21st, but it should say April 25th, of course. But yesterday, it feels like I was on the right side of everything. And of course, it didn't cash. Philly kind of sleptwalked through the first quarter. You see the Knicks play really, really hard at the beginning of the game. I mean, they play hard the whole game, but kind of run out of gas. And Philly kind of, Joel Embiid and Maxey just really kind of took over that game. So first quarter and first half was a loser yesterday, and that should be up here. The first half is not up here. The first half should be up here as well. I played Philly first quarter. I played Philly first half. I played Cleveland and Orlando to go under the 201. And it goes over by 3 points, of course, because the Cleveland Cavaliers do not show up in Orlando at all, offensively or defensively. But then we did live bet Philly. Hopefully people were able to get that in at halftime. Minus 120 on the money line on BetMGM. So, it instead of going 1-1, what you guys see, this should say 1-2. I'm sorry, 1-3, because the under didn't cash. The first half of Philly and the Cleveland Orlando didn't get game went over the total. So it should be a 1-3 day. We did get some of it back because there were smaller plays, and we did finish down 1.8 units. The playoffs have been very, very unkind to me. 5-12. You guys see the record right there. I never shy away from it. I'm down 9 units in the playoffs, but it's still a nice little grind. And some time that we have left to get right. So we will do that. I'm confident that we'll do that. And I appreciate everybody for rocking with me throughout the difficult stretch. Definitely one like I've never seen before to start the playoffs. We were on fire last year to start the playoffs. But let's get into the 3 games that we have on the board for today. This first one is actually my favorite. We got the Bucks and the Pacers. Bucks laying 5.5 points, 6 points on most books now. There's still a couple 5.5s out there, and the total starting to creep back up. It opened at 224.5. It went all the way down to 221 with the news that Chris Middleton could potentially miss this game. He's listed as questionable with an injury, but it's starting to go back up to 22 now. So let's jump into it. First thing I think we got to point out is that Giannis probably won't be a part of this game. He is listed as doubtful according to Shams. He is still getting into some preliminary stuff with his return, but it doesn't look like he's going to be played today. Officially listed as doubtful. Then you got to talk about Chris Middleton. Chris Middleton is listed as questionable with an ankle injury. Didn't practice yesterday. Sprained his ankle in the first quarter of game 2. He did play 36 minutes afterwards. Doc said, that he was a little concerned that Chris Middleton wouldn't be available. Not that he was completely ruled out. And he'll probably try to give it a go. Just not 100% sure, how effective he'll be, specifically on the defensive end. I mean, they'll need his offense too, but specifically on the defensive end, the Pacers are one of the better offensive teams the best offensive team, had the highest offensive rating. 120 something, best offensive rated team in the NBA. So I'm more so worried about him, defensively, but they'll need his offense as well, in my opinion. This Bucks team is not a great offensive team. And what they like to do, we talk about it a lot, is they like to shoot a bunch of 3-pointers. And let's dive into it. So first thing I think is worth mentioning is, and I think I did this. Let me just make sure. Let's look at the box scores. So same thing we did yesterday. Looking at the box scores here, we got the Milwaukee Bucks game, the game 1 on the left side, game 2 on the right side. So, I mean, we played the Pacers in game 2, and it was really because, if you guys can, see on the screen over here, you see the Pacers shot 40% from the floor in game 1. They shot 21% from the 3-point line in game 1, 8 for 38. But outside of that, and we talked about this when we liked them in game 2, they won the rebounding battle. They won the offensive rebounding battle. 1 less assist and 1 more turnover. You look at the points in the paint, they outscored They outscored the Bucks 13-6, and they had more fast break points and points in the paint and points off turnovers is what I was trying to say. So this was a game that they lost. Remember that game, wasn't even necessarily that close. The Bucks kind of blew them out, and then they fought back and then got blown out again. But a lot of that was Dame, right? And Dame can have a good game, but are those other guys gonna step up for this Milwaukee Bucks team on the road? My guess is no. So let's go to game 2. You guys see the outliers here. Pacers shot 55.6% from the field, 44.4% from the three-point line. Much better game. The Bucks, as we talk about, struggle against the three-point shot. They still managed to make 13 of their 32 threes and shoot 40% from the three-point line. I see major regression coming here for the Milwaukee Bucks on the offensive side. They shot 44% from the field, but still couldn't stop this young Pacers team at 55%. You go through, just look at the numbers. Offensive rebounding numbers were about similar. Rebounding overall, the Pacers continued to win that battle. Game 1 and game 2 now. 14 more assists. +9 from the three-point line. Forgot to mention that. And then you look at points off turnovers. The Bucks even won that category by 4. Still lost the game because the Pacers won the fast break points, and they dominated the Bucks in the paint, 52-36. Now you get a Milwaukee Bucks team on the road. And remember, I said this is the reason why I stayed off the Bucks in game 1, is because if they get a chance to win the game, I do think it'll be at home. I actually think this game won't even, I don't think this game will be close. I really, really don't. So the line was at 4, I think is what it opened at. Then, of course, Chris Middleton news comes out yesterday, and it immediately goes from 4. It goes up to 4.5, 5. You see some 5.5 start popping up. And I was looking into the game last night, and I laid it with the Pacers here, minus the 5.5, figuring that the line was already starting to move to 6. Excuse me, the line was already starting to move to 6. I like the Pacers here. I think, a big part of it for me is you think about the psychological factor, right? Kind of like the Pacers are in a very similar situation to the Orlando Magic yesterday. This will be their first game playing in front of their home fans in quite a while. Like, it's been a very, very long time since they played in front of their home fans. I think I had it written down. I think it's the first playoff game in 6 years for the Indiana Pacers. And that's one of the reasons why I really like the Pacers here. I think it's gonna be turned up, man. Like I said, similar to Orlando, who played their first home game yesterday, and we see what they did against the Cleveland Cavalier team. Indiana first home playoff game in 6 years. I think it's definitely something to take into consideration. Not to say they're gonna win the game just because they're back home, but we know they play a lot better at home. And that crowd is gonna be rocking. What is it? The Phil House or whatever it's called. It's a gold out. Like, it's going to be turned up in there. I absolutely think so. So just taking a deeper dive, not making it too opinionated. Give you guys some numbers to support it. The Bucks, they finished just 1-10 straight up, 3-8 against the spread as road dogs this season. Much better home team. We've been talking about that for a while. They're -17 in point differential in those 11 games. And averaging only just 103 points per game. They actually went under their team total in 7 and 11 games as well. And in 4 home games, and four games as road dogs without Giannis, who most likely won't be available today, they're 0-4 straight up, 1-3 against the spread, averaging just 102 points per game. 0-2 straight up and against the spread in Indy this season as well. They did lose by 2 back on November the 9th. Of course, these were 2 different teams back then. And they lost by 12 on January the 3rd as well. Pacers finished the season 18-11 straight up at the crib, 14-1-1 against the spread as a home favorite, but they were +9 in point differential. So when they won, they typically won by margin. As a 6-point favorite or less, Indy finished just 6-10 against the spread, but they were 10-6 to the over, and they averaged 123 points. I do think their team total at 113.5 is absolutely in play in this game as well. Pacers are now 5-2 straight up and against the spread in the 7 matchups between the 2 teams. And remember, one of the games that they lost outside of the first game 1 was the game that Giannis went off for 64 points, and he will not be available. I'm not thinking that he's going to be available in this game today. So yeah, I think for all of those reasons, I played the Pacers to run the Bucks off the floor in this game. Compromise Chris Middleton, Giannis potentially probably not being there. I think it's a double-digit win for the Pacers here. I laid the 5.5 comfortably here. One more thing I want to mention. So league-wide trend, home favorites who won game 2 on the road, in a game 3, as a home favorite, of course, 17 and 15 straight up, just 13 and 19 against the spread. That's only 40.6%. However, home favorites who enter game 3 with 1-1 in general, whether they won game 1 or game 2, are 48 and 29 straight up. That's 62.3%. I think I wanted to keep that for the next game. So for me, Pacers minus the 5.5. I think they run the Bucks off the floor in this game. Let's see how you guys are thinking about it. What up, Derek? He says, legit feel bad for the Lakers. They really be trying and just can't beat Denver. What I don't understand is why they lose every third quarter. It's because the Nuggets stopped playing around with them, right? We ain't gonna get into Nuggets versus Lakers, but I told you guys this yesterday. I said, go back and listen to the cap. I said, man, don't bet the Lakers, man. This team, the Denver Nuggets are the Lakers' daddy. That's just how it goes. What up, Justin? Appreciate you for being here. Jamie says, good morning, Chris. The family, let's cash out. Start the weekend, right? Remember, win, lose, it's just basketball. Yeah, but we're trying to make some cash on it for sure. Guzman, appreciate you for tapping in. Chill, say he tired of Lakers. What up, Tasha? Bitsy, Flonase, and Allegra. I use Zyrtec, Tasha. Zyrtec is my best friend around this time of the year. Peasy says, top of the morning gang, Magic first quarter and Lakers first quarter cash. Glad you cashed them. The only other team that was down 0-2 that didn't cash the first quarter was the only team I bet, which was Philly. I just can't. It seems like I can't get right, man. Frank says 80 going for 30. Got me back to even on the night. I'm glad you cashed that. Oscar says up early from the Pen in Montreal. Big up. My God, appreciate you for tapping in, Oscar. Eric, what's going on, my brother? Justin says Pacers over 113.5. Team total is in his pocket. Couldn't talk you off. Dano says Bucks trash. And Dano says good morning. Jay Click says Holly gonna ball out. His family was disrespected in Milwaukee. I did see that. His little brother got called the N-word, which is completely disrespectful. I just think they're gonna smack him anyway. I think they're gonna smack him. So I would agree there. 2 Millie says went to the Sixers game last night and Embiid getting better as the series goes on. All I'm saying, I agree. 2 Millie. I think the rest break that he got from game 2 to game 3 was significant. Having those 2 days off, Embiid had 50 last night. Looked good last night too. Even though he's compromised, like he just really have. I mean, nobody can really stop Embiid, honestly. So, yeah. Snag says, Joker hooked him on a plus 2,600 last night. That's tough, Snag. You should have just bet Denver on the money line. I'm pretty sure you probably did, but I know you was talking about it. So yeah, Pacers minus the 5.5 and the over in that game for me. Over on the Pacers team total 113.5 if I had to play it, but I did not touch that one. Just sitting in the best slip right now. Probably will end up playing it though. Let's go to another game. Let's go to the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Phoenix Suns. So this line opened with Phoenix laying 3.5. It's up to 4. Total opened at 207.5. Well, actually, total opened at and I'm not sure why I did this game second. This game is supposed to be third, but it's all good. Total opened at 209, and it's all the way down to 206.5 now. So I made these graphics last night. So 207, 206.5 is what it's at right now. So total continuing to drop. Let's get into this one. So injury wise, I think Grayson Allen is the only person that's listed, on the injury report for either team. Kyle Anderson, I think, is also on the injury report with that hip injury that had him questionable in game 2. So let's go through it. First off, the trend that we talked about yesterday, the very, very strong trend, is active on the Phoenix Suns. That's teams home favorites down 0-2, being 63 and 28 overall. 54, 35, and 2 against the spread, all time in the Killer Sports database. This was a trend that, worked twice yesterday. It worked in the Philly game. They won and covered the spread. It worked in the Orlando game. They won and covered the spread. However, the Lakers, who always get dominated by the Denver Nuggets, did not win and cover the spread. So this is a very, very, good place to start. I kind of feel like super desperation spot here for the Phoenix Suns, and jumping into it. So Phoenix. Game 2 was actually the first time all season that the Suns had went under 100 points in back-to-back games. And I mean, I mean, it's kind of warranted, right? The Timberwolves defense is no slouch. They got really great defenders over there. Number 1 rated defense in the league, of course. So the question you ask yourself is, can they lock up the Phoenix Suns on the road here? Suns finished the regular season 25th in turnovers and 25th in points allowed off turnovers. And that was a big part of how Minnesota was able to win the game. In the playoffs, it's actually gotten worse. They've actually committed the most turnovers of any team in the NBA. So they reverted back to those bad habits when, towards the down the stretch of the season, they had actually stopped turning the ball over. And the Phoenix Suns, of any team that's made the playoffs or the play-ins, they have committed the most turnovers and allowed the most points off turnovers as well. In game 2, they had 20 turnovers. The most recent game, 20 turnovers led to 31 points. They lost the game by 12 points. So there is a path for Phoenix to win the game. They got to take care of the basketball. And they got to stay connected and communicate. You hear the post-game interview, Devin Booker talks about them, not really sticking together. The Timberwolves are, in my opinion, they're a better team. And I'm wrong on that one. Even if the Suns win this game, I don't know if they win the series. I think the length that the Timberwolves have, and the way that they can play one-on-one defense and not have to, double, and Phoenix is not getting those wide open shots, I think that really comes into play. And watching the first 2 games, that's what I saw. Now, do we expect some regression from Jaden McDaniels having a career-high 25 points? I absolutely think so. Will the Suns take care of the basketball in this game a little bit better than they have in the last 2? I think so. You see the turnover difference right here, 20 to 14 in game 2. Points off turnovers, which is not here, but I gave you guys that. Timberwolves dominated the points in the paint, which we kind of expect. But what we didn't expect the Timberwolves to do is to outshoot the Phoenix Suns. They only shot 28% from the three-point line in game 2, but they were still +3 from the three-point line. And in game 1, they were +9 from the three-point line and shot the three-point ball better. If Phoenix Suns have any chance in this game, it's going to be because they're making jump shots. You're not going to go down there, score a bunch of points in the paint against the Minnesota Timberwolves. They got Karl-Anthony Towns in the paint. So can they play connected in this game? I really, really do think so. And I really, really want to take the Timberwolves. I really want to take the Phoenix Suns. I want to look at them early. Like I said, I don't think they're a better team now at this point. But I do think that there's some merit to them coming out, playing like their hair's on fire. We should see a much better game from Devin Booker. I think they got to play a little faster. I know that's not typically their style of play. They're a pretty slow-paced team. And the Timberwolves have been a pretty good defense against transition as well. But you can't take, 15, 16 seconds trying to set up your offense and then all to take a bad shot. Game 2 saw Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and Bradley Beal all go under their points prop. Like I said, this team has been held under 95 points in back-to-back games to start this series. So you got to play faster, in my opinion, if you're Frank Vogel and his coaching staff. Timberwolves can be a little bit more susceptible to losing games on the road, of course. What did I write in my notes? So Timberwolves finished just 7-10 straight up as road dogs this season. They were 8-9 against the spread. They allowed 8 more points per game as on the road than they did at home. So as a home favorite, they allowed just 103 points. But as a road dog, they gave up 111. So, I mean, that tells me Phoenix offense should be playing a little bit better in this spot. Phoenix is just an offensive team. At this point, I'm not sure if they can win with their defense, even though their defense hasn't been necessarily the worst. It's just that they've been smothered. They've been absolutely smothered by this Minnesota Timberwolves team. So if I had to play the game, I'm looking at the Timberwolves early. I'm looking at the Phoenix Suns early. I'll probably play them first half. I think the number is 2.5. I'm not sure what happens in the third quarter. And here's the reason why I say first half versus, full game. And it's very reminiscent of the Lakers and the Denver Nuggets. Timberwolves finished the third quarter in game 1 on a 21-5 run. That was when Anthony Edwards was talking trash to Kevin Durant, when they were walking back up the floor. The game was over with after that. Timberwolves actually, the Suns actually won the first quarter. And it was close for much of the second quarter as well. But like I said, 21-5 run in the third quarter. So in game two, Suns were actually up 60-57 at halftime. What happens? Timberwolves finished the third quarter on a 17-4 run to close the third quarter. So for whatever reason, the Timberwolves have been a much better team in the second half, and we've seen the Suns fade throughout the game, oftentimes. So Phoenix early in this spot. I know it burned me yesterday with Philly, but I do think it's the right side in this game. Phoenix first quarter. Phoenix first half minus the 2.5 is the way that I would play it. Let's see what you guys are saying here. Interested to see. Let's see. Stephen says he's going Timberwolves +4. Snag says he thinks the Wolves handle business. Snag been on the Wolves all series. Thinks they cover. Nando says the Bucks gonna struggle to score without Giannis. I agree. Steven says Suns first half here as well. Nando says Chris, Suns are not good, man. Minnesota +4, his best bet. Okay. Steven likes Anthony Edwards points. He also likes Bills points. Speaking of points, Devin Booker. I went back and looked at last year when the Suns were down. And it's two totally different teams. But last year when the Suns were down 0-2 coming home to the Denver Nuggets, that was the game that Devin Booker went off. I think he had 44 in that game. I think his points prop sitting at 25.5. So I know it's not, same style, same defense, but I mean, the thing that is the same is that, back up against the wall, what you going to do? And I think Devin Booker has a much more productive game than he had in game 1 and game 2, where he shot just 1 for 6 from the 3-point line in game 2. Justin likes that Suns early too. He says Suns first half in his pocket, minus the 3. Yeah, I think it's a top play in this game. Tumili says KD quit last game. These old dudes looking done. Boy, I mean, I think it's some merit to that, Tumili. Steph sitting at the crib, Clay, Draymond, Bron, and AD about to be sitting at the crib on Sunday. I agree with this as well. Steven says Suns need a point guard. They absolutely need a point guard. I saw a comment yesterday that said, what if LeBron doesn't return and he joins the Suns to be the point guard that they need next year? Oh man, that's a crazy comment. What up, Prolific? Appreciate you for tapping in. Nando says Edwards points didn't cash last game. I'm going on it again. I like the game to go over too. Okay. Steven says Book got to push the pace. I absolutely agree with this. He got to make some shots too. Even when he tries to push the pace, it's not really making a lot of shots, man. Miss Sky says the Lakers let the world down yesterday. Not really. I mean, that's what they do. What up, LJ? My guy, he says top of the morning, Chris. Knicks first quarter, Nuggets full game. Cash for me last night. Glad you got some cash yesterday with those two, LJ. Miss Sky says Bucks +4. Suns can't get it together. So opposite side there. Definitely not on the Bucks today. Snag says, and you're right, Chris. Moneyline probably would have been better for the slip. Otherwise than Jokic points, and I agree there. Bucks need a point guard too. I mean, Dame is a point guard. They need Giannis. I think they need Giannis. Let's go to the last game. Clippers and the Mavs. So this is a game that I don't have a strong feel on, but I will share notes with you guys here. So Clippers are slot opened at 3.5 in favor of Dallas, and it's up to 4.5. It's actually come back down to no, it's still 4.5. Total opened at 2. I saw it open up at 211, and it's down to 210. I think I'd like the under here. I know it's a super low total. I know we see some game 3s go over, but I think I like the over here. So let's get into it. So let's see. Did I make the slips for this one? I think I did. I like to be able to compare and contrast games 1 and games 2 and let you guys be able to see it. So here, left side, we got the Clippers in the Dallas Mavericks game 1. Right side, we got the game 2. So, I mean, I was on Dallas in game 1. Of course, they lost, and I didn't take them in game 2, even though I talked about really, really liking them to bounce back in that spot. Kawhi coming back, first game in 21 days. And, of course, they lose that, the Clippers lose that game. And it's been a tale of 2 different halves. Game 1, it was Dallas that couldn't score the ball. Remember, they had 8 points in the second quarter. They shot 38% from the field, only 30% from the 3-point line. And it was a big, Zubac game. Now, in game 2. I mean, and this is why I told you guys I like them in, to bounce back in game 2 is because they still won fast break points. They still won the rebounding battle. Well, they lost the rebounding battle by 4, but it wasn't significant. So I really, really like, points in the paint was pretty similar as well. So I really, really like, Dallas to bounce back in game 2. So on the right hand side, you guys see game 2 numbers. So you look at, the Dallas Mavericks. They shot much better from the 3-point line. What's 6 times 3? 24. They were plus 24 from the 3-point line. And that's what Dallas likes to do, right? They want to get Luka, Kyrie in the pick and roll, one of those guys in the pick and roll, kind of spread the floor. Also, failed to mention this, but Tim Hardaway Jr. sprained his ankle 6 minutes into the game, did not return. He is listed as out in this game. So that's even more of a reason to like the total to go under. One of your better offensive players that Coach Kidd really, really trusts will not be available in this game. I think that does lean towards an under as well. And I think we see really, really good defenses in this game. We got to remember Coach Ty Lue's on one side, Coach Kidd, both two defensive-minded coaches are, out there representing both of these teams. So looking at game 2, Dallas won the rebounding battle. Looking at game 2, Dallas even turned the ball over 5 more times and still ended up winning the game. And if you just look right here, we just isolate to the Clippers. Just look at the Clippers. This is very symbolic of what Dallas did in game 1, right? This is why I put it up here. Dallas shot 38% in game 1, and 30% from the 3-point line. In game 2, the Clippers shot 36% from the field. They shot 26% from the 3-point line. So do the Clippers bounce back? Was that Kawhi, like just being rusty? Or was that, the Clippers defense really, really stepping up? And I think it was a little bit of both. You see Luka come out there, have a really, really big game. I think he had 32 points. PJ Washington contribute as well. So getting into some of the trends, Mavs, they did finish 18-9 straight up, but they were only 14-13 against the spread as a home favorite. They won. They were +6 in point differential. They finished the season, however, 5-0 straight up and against the spread down the stretch with their starters playing in those games as home favorites. And the Clippers, not a good road team. They finished 4-10 straight up and 5-9 against the spread as road dogs this season. They were a -5.4 in point differential. So this was one where I told you guys that trend that I talked about for the first game comes into play. Home favorites who won game 2 on the road and they enter game 3, 17-15 straight up, just 13-19 against the spread though. That's 40.6%. I think I told you guys I really like the total to go under. I think this is a big chess game here. I didn't talk about this yet, but I do want to mention the way players are being utilized. I think that's super important here. So if we remember game 1 without Kawhi Leonard, Zubac dominated. He had a double-double, I think, at halftime. And the adjustment that was made was now you get Maxi Kleber, a guy that can stretch the floor on the offensive end, and that brings Zubac away from the floor, brings Zubac away from the paint. The Clippers have been a pretty good team, not giving up a bunch of points in the paint. I think Zubac's defense is a tad bit underrated, but he gets a really, really bad matchup with Maxi Kleber, a guy who is bigger and stronger than both Daniel Gafford, who is listed as questionable, and Derek Lively. And for that reason, I think that Kleber continues to play in this game. Kleber played, he played really, really well in game 1. If you go back and look at the box score, I don't have it pulled up right in front of me, but Kleber played really, really well in game 2 specifically. Real quick, I want to pull that up for you guys and tell you what it was. I think it, and I'm pretty sure, Coach Ty Lue will have a chess move of his own to throw, try to throw a wrench in this. But off the bench, Kleber played 28 minutes. He was a +9, which was actually the highest plus minus on the floor. And granted, he just hit 2 threes. But like I said, +9, had 6 rebounds, 6 points. And I think he's going to be big in this game. I think he's going to be really, really big in this game. Because, like I said, the Dallas Mavericks will they'll hunt pick and roll opportunities to get either Luka matched up, to get Zubac either matched up on Luka or Kyrie. And for that reason, I do think that they'll have success, because I don't think you can take Zubac off the floor. I think you kind of need him to protect the rim. He did finish with 13 points, 12 rebounds in game number 2. So difficult game for me to handicap, man. Like I really wanted to take the Dallas Mavericks coming back home. I do feel like they're the better team. I think Kawhi could still be kind of rounding back into form. He shot just 7 for 17 from the floor, 0 for 5 from the three-point line, and only had 15 points in game 2. But I stayed away from the side. I think I'm gonna stay away from the side. I could kind of see this game going either way. I think the 4.5 is appropriate. Not really wanting to bag that. If I had to play it, though, I think I would be taking Dallas, but I think I like the under a little bit more. I'll see what happens with the total because it is trending up at 211. But this is a game that I think will be defensive oriented. I think both of these teams will struggle to score. And I was looking into some trends last night, and when the 4-5 series, when the 4 and 5 seeds play and enter game 3 with the series tied at 1-1, the total is actually 10-3 to the under as well. So I expect Dallas to play defense. Some of their best defense. I expect the Mavs to play defense. And even if these teams are making more shots, I don't think it'll be that many more. I do like both defenses here. So under would be the best play in this game for me. Like I said, the total is trending up at 211.5. But maybe I'll wait to the last second and get in on the under here. Stay away from the side. Player prop wise, I do like PJ Washington in this game. His points prop sitting at 11.5. I think you could even play his rebounds plus points. Rebounds sitting at 5.5. He has 6 in game 2. And the minutes are consistently there for PJ Washington. He played 35 minutes in game 2. One of the guys that you can clearly tell that Coach Kidd really trusts. So it's a value play. 37 minutes in game 1, 35 minutes in game 2. Tim Hardaway Jr. not being available, I think, creates more offensive opportunities for him because they'll miss that bench scoring. He shot 10 times in game 1, 5 for 10, finished on the hook. Shot 10 times in game 2, made 4 of those. And if you're getting almost a shot per point, it's really hard for me to fade you here. So PJ Washington over his 11.5 points. Like I said, 18 in game 2, 11 in game 1. And I think Luka and Kyrie continue to get the attention. If you're Ty Lue, don't you want to make somebody else beat you outside of Luka and Kyrie? And role players play better at home. So give me PJ Washington over his 11.5 points here. I like that one a lot if I'm playing a player prop here. Let's see what you guys are saying. Luka triple double, Steven says. Nando says under, not touching the spread here. I agree. Under has no value, Steven says. I kind of think it does. Carlos said they need Ramadan Kyrie. He might show up. LJ says three player parlay, Booker points, Luka threes, Halliburton assists. I couldn't talk you off any of those, LJ. I like them all. This is a good point. Steven says role players play better, so look towards Luka assists. They definitely gonna be trapping them for sure. Steven also likes Paul George to score 25. T Money says I like the Mavs getting it done here at home, Chris. Clippers chemistry might be off with Leonard with Kawhi being back. We can see that. Jay Click says under. Luka is pretty good. 6'9" defensive liability. With quotation marks. Yeah, Luka can play defense when he really locks in. No idea boxing. Boxing first vlog. Denver versus Boston. Like I said, I think Denver. I've been saying it all season. I still ain't bet it yet, but I've been saying it for the last couple of weeks. I still think Denver the best team in basketball. Now, granted, it's a bad matchup for the Lakers. I still think Denver's the best team, though. Fremont says, "What up, bro? I'm glad I couldn't get into my book. It saved me from putting the bet on the Lakers." Yeah, don't play the Lakers, man. Never play the Lakers against the Nuggets. 11 straight games, 11 straight losses. Jamie says he grabbed Mavs plus 1.5. Mavs at 1.5. First half at minus 1.5 here. I can see it. The Clippers typically play slower at home, which is why Coach Lue emphasized it in game 1. But I think game 3 you just take the better team, and I do feel like the Mavs are the better team here. I couldn't talk you off, Jamie. I didn't really look into the first half. Jamie says he's playing Kyrie rebounds again until it missed. Couldn't talk you off there. Tumili likes Luka 10 assists. And Jose says he thinks the Clippers tonight -3. Okay. And Boxing likes the points plus likes the points for the Clippers as well, taking the points. All right, so let me get out of here. Only 3 games. Like I said, I feel like I got a really strong feel on one, which is the Pacers minus the 5.5. Only play that I locked in. I think it's a 5.5 still out there available. So definitely check, shop around. But like I said, I think Phoenix wins the game tonight, man. I think sometimes, kind of like Orlando, we had no idea how Orlando was going to be able to win the game yesterday. They did it with rebounding. They did it with shot making, coming back home, getting a boost of energy from their home crowd. And I think Phoenix, they got to play their best basketball. You lose today, your season is over. And Kevin Durant's legacy takes another hit, kind of tarnishes it outside of those Golden State rings. So Phoenix first half, I think, is the better play. And I'm probably going to end up getting there. Just haven't played it yet. And I told you guys why I like PJ Washington over his 11.5 points as well. TJ McConnell, I forgot to mention him, over 6.5 points, I think it was. He's gone over in 18 of his last 19 games. In game 1, he had 1. He had 10 in game 1. He followed it up with just 6, but he only shot the ball 6 times. We got to remember something about the Indiana Pacers. This is the best scoring team in the NBA, the best bench unit in the NBA, and TJ McConnell actually leads that bench. So it's not listed here, but if you can get on TJ McConnell points, I think the number 7.5, I do feel like he is locked in to have a really big game, especially when you think about Patrick Beverley being added to the starting unit, which means that TJ McConnell will get guys like Malik Beasley guarding him in the second unit. Yeah, I like TJ McConnell a lot tonight as well. I definitely think he bounces back, and he's gone over in every game against the Milwaukee Bucks, except in game 2. So I think it's a big game for him as well. Siakam probably doesn't have to do as much. He got back-to-back 36 and 37-point games. I don't think he'll need to do as much. I think TJ McConnell definitely plays well in that backup role behind Halliburton today. So Indiana, the only thing I played so far. I like them. I like their team total to go over 113.5. Phoenix minus 2.5 in the first half will be my other top play. I think Phoenix get the job done as well, though. -4, and PJ Washington over his points. TJ McConnell over his 7.5 as well. Hope you guys enjoyed the show, man. Resources are here. And do me a favor, if you did like the show, hit the like button, share the show, subscribe to the channel. Link for all my plays when I do make them are in the description. Been cold as ice water. Never shy away from it, though. You embrace it, you'll get it back. Bet responsibly. Best of luck. I'll catch you guys in the next one, man. Have a great day. And I'm out.